Concacaf Champions League quarterfinals first leg have already been played. A few went exactly as expected and a few surprises. So let's get into it. Atlanta United versus the Philadelphia Union. Now, this one ended up being quite the surprise. Not because I didn't expect Philly to win, I did, but not this convincingly. And honestly, Atlanta, even at home, never really were able to take off. Even when they managed to get in the final third, Philly were always up to the task to keep them at bay. Dom got a good chance at the beginning, but the goalkeeper does a great job at coming up with the save here. Atlanta's defense was pretty solid as both sides in attack were pretty stop and start in the beginning of the first half, but towards the end, Atlanta looked the more dangerous side and had the bigger chances. Second half starts, and right off the bat, it's Atlanta once again with a big chance, but once again, Philadelphia's goalkeeper Blake is able to come up with the big save. And honestly, Blake should be given just as much credit for this win as much as any other player because he made a total of 7 saves. And if some of those went in, especially in the first half of this game, this could have gone a completely different way. Man of the match for me. Now, again, Atlanta were looking the more dangerous side. But then at the 57th minute, off a corner kick set piece, the ball goes in the middle, through to the far side post, where Shabilko puts it into pretty much an open net. Poor set piece defending by Atlanta here to give the lead to Philly. But this did light a fire under Atlanta, and they came out on Philly hard, pushing for the equalizer, but just weren't able to get it. And instead, it's Philly who get the second at the 73rd minute. Flock has the ball wide with Shabilko wide open in the middle. Gets it to him, and he smashes it into the back of the net. Shabilko, who has been on fire in the Concacaf Champions League, gets himself a brace here. And Atlanta continued to push men forward. Unfortunately, it backfires, with Santos getting a fantastic pass from the middle all the way up to Shabilko, who has Fontana running alongside him. Shabilko, very unselfishly, gets it over to Fontana, who puts it in the open net. Game ends 3-0. Atlanta dead on arrival in the quarterfinal at home. No way they make it through now. Toronto versus Cruz Azul. Now, this one was less surprising and went pretty much as expected. Toronto playing at home and definitely needing a win, or at the very least, to keep Cruz Azul off the score sheet, and they, of course, couldn't do either one. Altidore started this game, which should have foreshadowed the result, as every time he has started, they have played poorly. Sure enough, the score opened with Cruz Azul getting the ball from Altidore, who just straight up passed it back to Alvarado. He then gets the ball to Angulo, who lets out a screamer just outside the box. This was barely the third minute. Now, to be fair, Toronto did do well to respond. They did get the equalizer at the 20th minute by Osorio, but that was mostly due to poor defending by two Cruz Azul defenders who let that ball in. But hey, a goal is a goal, and Toronto got one here. But less than a minute later, Cruz Azul got their second of the night. Or at least what would have been their second if it weren't for VAR ruling it out due to offsides. And honestly, I think they got this one wrong. I've liked how MLS has utilized VAR, especially when it comes to offsides, as they do seem to give it to the runner more often than not when it's on the line like this. However, the CONCACAF Champions League seems to be using VAR like they do in England, where if the player literally has his fingertip offsides, they rule off the goal. Pretty ridiculous in my opinion, but it is what it is. There was another VAR issue for a handball by Toronto in the box. Osorio puts his hands up as the shot comes off. Yes, it probably was as a reaction to cover his face as he was pretty close to him, but still, he does put his hands up and in doing so blocks the shot with his hands. This is why so many players keep their hands down or even behind their back in these positions to avoid the handball. So this one was difficult to decide, and in the end, they don't give the penalty. So that was the second VAR decision back to back that favored Toronto. And even then, they couldn't get this one over the line. Cruz Azul got their official second of the half at the 34th minute, and then their third in the second half to seal it for them. And all but confirms their place in the semifinal, as I don't see Toronto being able to mount the type of comeback that they would require. And in Mexico, no way. The Columbus Crew versus Monterrey. Now, Monterrey did get a lucky break early in the first half and at the 9th minute after a turnover in a dangerous position, gives them the lead. But then they just seemed to be happy with that one goal lead and decided to kind of stay back and defend. And Columbus did try to respond and got some good shots off, but were just unable to find the equalizer in the first half. That wouldn't come until the 65th minute, when Zelarayan does well to keep the ball in play, jukes out the defender, and plays a great pass to Valenzuela, who puts it away. And Columbus keep pushing, knowing that they really need a win here. and they do get their second goal at the 87th minute, and this time it's Zela Rayan who puts it away. But Monterrey did not go quietly. Deep in stoppage time at the 93rd minute, literally 1 minute before the final whistle, Monterrey are putting lots of pressure on the box, mounting attack after attack, and Columbus just failed to clear it properly. Pavon gets a great cross in, and Alvarado heads it straight in right in front of goal. Columbus really should be kicking themselves for not being able to see out the win here. They cannot afford to be giving up last minute goals like this, especially at home. Now Monterrey have two big away goals, which puts things in their favor in the return leg. It is going to be that much harder for Columbus to advance. They will now have to beat Monterrey in their own home, which will prove to be a difficult task, but not impossible. Portland Timbers versus America. Another frustrating one here for the MLS side, playing at home and really needing a win to make things easier for them in the return leg. And they couldn't do it. In fact, it really looked like Portland were going to lose this one after America got their goal in stoppage time thanks to a penalty. But Portland did rally in the second half, but America did well to keep them at bay for most of it. I will admit, the last 10 minutes or so of this game were really intense, very aggressive from both teams, and you really were glued to the screen to see if Portland were able to get that equalizer or not. Now, as luck would have it, they did. And again, thanks to a penalty. And again, in stoppage time. This game was a tale of two penalties. Honestly, it's hard to know what to make of this. Neither team really impressed. Yes, America does have the slight advantage with this away goal, but it was thanks to a penalty after a pretty dumb challenge from Bravo. Completely unnecessary, but without that, America would have been kept at zero. They really didn't dominate, at least not in the attacking third, where it mattered. Portland was also a disappointment. Playing at home and you barely get the equalizer thanks to a penalty in stoppage time? I mean, doesn't really give fans a whole lot of confidence. This one is still wide open, even if America do have the slight advantage at the moment. So, there you have it. Cruz Azul and Philly have it pretty much sealed for them, and Portland and the crew have their work cut out for them. Those last two games will be the more interesting ones to watch. So now let me know what you all thought about these performances and who do you think will advance after seeing these games. Let me know down below, and please don't forget to like the video and comment, as this really does help the channel. Thanks a bunch, and thanks for watching. This is American Soccer United, the place where American soccer fans unite.